welcome to Daniel 10. This is the chapter where we are going to talk about the princes. And what I have in front of me is a website that is talking about the Roman Empire. For those of you who may have been waiting for me to mention the Roman Empire, here's the conversation. And it has nothing to do with the four kingdoms of Nebuchadnezzar's statue, and it has nothing to do with the four beasts of Daniel's night vision in Daniel 7. So why are we talking about Rome? There is what was called the Year of Four Emperors. During 68 through 69 AD, there was a kind of infighting between four different Roman empires, winding up with Titus Vespasian. Titus Vespasian was the Roman emperor who was on the throne when Jerusalem was sacked in 70 AD. Now, Daniel 10 talks about the Prince of Persia and the Prince of Grecia and Michael, the great prince of Israel. Daniel 9 talked about Messiah the Prince and the Prince who shall come. Part of the reason that people believe that there is some kind of tie to a revived Roman Empire in the end times, why they believe there are actually 5 kingdoms in the statue, and why they believe that the fourth beast from Daniel 7 relates to the Roman Empire and not the Revelation 13 end times empire, is because there is a reference in Daniel 9:26 to the people of the prince who shall come destroying the city and the sanctuary in 70 AD. Now the prince who shall come is the one who confirms the covenant with many for 1 week. It is Revelation 6:1-2's rider on the white horse who has a bow, a crown is given unto him, and he goes forth conquering and to conquer. So because people are committed to the belief that there is one end times ruler, and it is the rider on the white horse, and he is of the same people who came to destroy the city and the sanctuary in 70 AD, that it must be a revived Roman Empire. No, because there are only 4 kingdoms in the statue, and there are 4 beasts. And the fourth kingdom in the statue, which is the legs of iron and feet of iron and miry clay, is the fourth beast from Daniel 7's night vision, is the fourth beast rising up out of the sea, is Revelation 13's beast rising up out of the sea, synonymous with ascending out of the bottomless pit, is the king of the locusts, is the angel of the bottomless pit, is Abaddon, is Apollyon. He is not called in Daniel either time he is referenced by some kind of royal moniker ever called the prince. In Daniel 8, it talks about a fierce king rising who understands dark sentence, a king of fierce countenance. Let me open my Bible and we'll get to it. Daniel 8. He is called in Daniel 8:23, talking about the fourth kingdom, talking about the fourth beast. In that latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. This guy's got nothing to do with the Roman Empire. He's the angel of the bottomless pit, where he's been confined since the days of Noah, when those who were wicked got confined, chained to the bottomless pit, and he's awaiting the time, his appointed time, to be released. He is not a prince. He is called the king. And he is responsible for the events of the midpoint of the 70th week. As stated in Daniel 11, the king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences, who shall stand up, is the king who shall do according to his will. He shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. 2 times in the book of Daniel, once in Daniel 8 and once in Daniel 11, is the beast from Revelation 13 referred to as the king. And in Revelation 9, it is because he is the king of the locusts, the angel of the bottomless pit. Revelation 17 says, "The beast which thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go about his destruction. And they whose names are not written in the book of life shall wonder after him, when they behold the beast who was and is not, and yet is." He is not because he is in the bottomless pit. When we understand that Daniel refers to the beast as king, we can hopefully do away with the thought that he has anything to do with the start of the 70th week, because Revelation defines him as not being physically able to have anything to do with the start of the 70th week. The bottomless pit where he is confined, chained to the side of, is not even opened until trumpet 5, and we are specifically told he ascends out of it in Revelation 11:7. The beast ascending out of the bottomless pit is the same as the beast rising up out of the sea. And Daniel 7 said he saw 4 beasts rise up out of the sea. The lion, which was Babylon, the Babylonian Empire. The bear, which was the Medo-Persian Empire. The leopard with 4 wings and 4 heads, that was the Greek Empire. And a 4th one that was diverse from the first 3, dreadful, devour, break in pieces, stamp the residue with the feet thereof. Go over to Revelation 13, and that is where you will find the corresponding imagery. So the 4th kingdom and Nebuchadnezzar's statue, the 2 legs of iron and feet of iron and miry clay, is your beast, your false prophet, and your 10 kings, who will go about trying to convert mankind, who is the clay, via worship of the beast, image of the beast, or taking the mark of the beast. And that is why it is partly strong and partly broken. And why, when Jesus returns at the second coming, he dashes the feet of iron and miry clay to pieces. Just like Armageddon, it talks about in Revelation 19 with Armageddon. So because, like I said, Daniel calls that person, that beast, that 4th of 4 kingdoms and beasts, the king, he is not a prince. Very, very, very clearly states in Daniel 9:26 that the prince who shall come is the one who starts the 70th week. So this is where we're going to talk about princes. The people of the prince that shall come destroyed the city and the sanctuary in 70 AD. And as you can see here, this was the year of 4 kings, the last being Titus Vespasian, which would make sense why Jerusalem was sacked in 70 AD, because that was the part of the Roman Empire that was added under his reign. The person responsible for starting the 70th week is not named. And there's a reason that person is not named, because we are not intended to be looking for them. We are intended to be waiting for our Christ. The people who we can know about, who are related to the midpoint of the 70th week and after, we can know because we would have no reason to look for them. We are not going to be here. The same cannot be said for the one who starts the 70th week. And if you were intended to know who it was, you would be told. I realize people like to guess. It's not very helpful. So now I'm going to take you to this chart of the book of Daniel, the 4 kingdoms and the 4 beasts, which talks about the empires that are pertinent to the princes that we're going to talk about in Daniel 10. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing and had understanding of the vision. So we have moved from the head of gold, which was Babylon, also the lion, to the chest and arms of silver, the bear, Medo-Persia. We are talking specifically right now, Cyrus being the king of the Persians, about the 2nd of the 4. The 2nd of the 4 beasts, the 2nd of the 4 kingdoms, Medo-Persia. In those days I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, his face the appearance of lightning, his eyes as lamps of fire, his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. I will explain who that is when we get to the end of the chapter. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet heard I the voice of his words. And when I heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, which set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hands. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright. For unto thee am I now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia, they are in the Medo-Persian reign, specifically stated to be the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia. When you are talking about the prince of Persia, the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, but lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. I remained there with the kings of Persia. You are talking about principalities. Ephesians 6 makes this clear when it says, We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. When Daniel is referring to princes, he is referring to principalities, which would not be natural beings. Case in point, Michael is the prince of Israel. This chapter will end by stating that, and Daniel 12:1 will talk about Michael, the great prince, which stands for the children of thy people. These are angelic beings. These are principalities. In Daniel 8, it called Jesus, the one who the king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. It says, He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. Capital P, prince of princes. Means the one who is superior to all principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. There is a prince of the kingdom of Persia that withstood this angel that is trying to give Daniel a message. But Michael, the prince of Israel, came and helped him out. We continue into the next kingdom, so we would expect to find a prince of Grecia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. When he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb, and behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips, and I opened my mouth and spake, and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, by the vision my sorrows are returned unto me, and I have retained no strength. For how can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remained no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me, and said, O man greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto thee, be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened, and said, Let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Just to make a point, Hebrews 1 states that angels were created to be ministering spirits to the heirs of salvation, and that's what we see this one doing for Daniel repeatedly. Verse 20 said, Then said he, Knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? Now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia, and when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Grecia shall come. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth, for there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. So in that chapter, we have 3 princes specifically detailed. The prince of the kingdom of Persia, the prince of the kingdom of Grecia, and Michael, the prince that stands for Israel. Again, when we go to Daniel 12, it says, regarding the events of the midpoint of the 70th week, at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. So, you have a prince related to Medo-Persia, specifically the prince of Persia, because it referenced Cyrus. You have a prince of Grecia, which related to the Greek Empire. And you have a king related to the 4th Empire, the king of fierce countenance, the king who shall do according to his will and exalt himself over God. It's called the abomination of desolation. There are 3 points to the 70th week. There is a beginning, there is a midpoint, and there is an ending. The midpoint is reserved for this 4th guy. He is the one who will exist when Jesus comes back at the second coming. He is the beast whose body will be given to the burning flame per Daniel 7. He is the little horn that comes up among the 10 horns, with the mouth speaking great words. The reason his body will be given to the burning flame. And he is the one who shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, until the consummation and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate, and he is thrown into the lake of fire. Daniel 11:36 through 46, when we get to the layout of the kingdoms in Daniel 11, we'll go through this chart, and this 4th beast's time, this king, is the last part of the chapter, Daniel 11:36 through 46. He is also the beast that the woman will ride in Revelation. But none of this talks at all about the beginning of the 70th week, because the beginning of the 70th week is not the king who shall do according to his will. It is the people of the prince that shall come. Who destroy the city and the sanctuary at the end, the end thereof shall be with a flood unto the end of the war. Desolations are determined, the first of which was 70 AD. So this is where the Roman Empire comes in, where the reference in Daniel 9:26 was to the people who destroyed Jerusalem. It was the armies of Titus Vespasian under the Roman Empire. As you can see, it was big. So people limiting it to Rome do so in error. The Roman Empire was not Rome. They are not synonymous terms. Rome was part of the Roman Empire, but as you can see, the Roman Empire was quite expansive. So it could literally be anybody. We are not told, because we are not intended to be looking for this person, because he will be here after we are. And what he will do is after we are gone. The reason that people think Rome at all, though, is because of Daniel 9:26 and the reference to the prince who shall come being of the people who destroyed the city and the sanctuary in 70 AD. This is what it means to be Antichrist, as he is the one who comes in the place of Christ, the Revelation 6 rider on the white horse, versus the Revelation 19 rider on the white horse. He comes in the place of, to have Israel build a temple, and he operates as their Messiah, the one who comes in the place of. Who knows what happens to him? I don't. But because he's called the prince that shall come, in contrast to Messiah the prince, who is also mentioned in Daniel 9:26. Daniel 9:26 says, after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So Jesus is the Messiah the prince. Capital M, capital P. After 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, the people of the prince that shall come. So he's setting himself up against Messiah the prince. This is what it means to be anti, and he is of the people who destroyed the city and the sanctuary in 70 AD. Again, good luck. There's a map of it. What it looked like in 70 AD. He could literally be any person, and we are not designed to know, because you should not be looking for him. Your attention should never be taken away from your Savior, your Messiah, the Prince. However, something eventually does happen to him. He stops being pertinent to the scope of the 70th week because the beast descends out of the bottomless pit, the king who does according to his own will. And at Armageddon, it is that king who will stand up against the Prince of Princes, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and be broken without hand. The biggest reason why people think that, well, there are two reasons why people think that the person who is going to be in charge during the 70th week comes from Rome, is because they think there's only one person, rather there are two, and they are taking context from Daniel 9:26. Daniel 9:26 is the person who comes related to the rider on the white horse in Revelation 6 to start the 70th week by giving Israel her temple. But the person who is related to the four beasts and the four kingdoms is not that person. It is Revelation 13's beast who is king. And he is the one who Jesus will do battle with and slay with the breath of his mouth at the second coming. So that was Daniel 10. I was originally going to do this in a live stream, but I wanted to take you through some differentiation and talk about the princes, because there are 5 mentioned in Daniel. And this fourth beast ain't one of them. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll see you later.